here we go. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Unreal Experience podcast. I am your host, Alex, also known as Unreal and Gaming on the interwebs, and this is going to be a very deep and very special episode. Now, for those of you out there who don't know or who don't follow my main channel, Unreal and Gaming, we just hit 1 million subscribers on the channel after literally 10 years. I'm going to be opening up about everything, about what YouTube had done for me, both the good, the bad. I'm going to be getting into the journey in which led us here. I'm going to be giving you guys tons of crazy stories that I have that relate to YouTube. And I do want to say first and foremost, for those who say, oh, well, YouTube really isn't a job and YouTube isn't this and that. It's really something of a hobby. It's not really something legit and YouTube is just for fun. Let me tell you something, man. In 2021, I paid the IRS $17,000 in taxes. I'm in a very elite, high status tax bracket, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I have to pay a lot of fucking money to the tax man every single year because of that. So if that doesn't qualify as being a real job, I don't know what does. And the reason why I say this is because I never thought that I could turn YouTube into a career or a job, because when I first started Unreal and Gaming, to give you a little bit of a backstory, I've been on the YouTube platform since 2007. My first ever crappy channel was called WWE Rule 5. Originally, it was supposed to be WWE Rules because I was such a huge WWE fanboy, but since that name was taken, I replaced the S with the 5, right? So what I did on that channel many years ago was I did wrestling reviews, pay-per-view reviews, video responses, stuff like that. It was pretty horrible. Then I had a gaming channel that really wasn't a gaming channel, but it kind of was. It was called Alex Animal 7, and what me and a bunch of my homies from Xbox would do would be recording Halo 3, Grand Theft Auto 4, stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I never really knew about the whole monetization thing that was going on because I was still super naive and super fresh onto the platform, so I didn't really know what was going on. I was having fun in really just not taking this serious because we were making Halo machinimas, because machinimas were big back in the day, right? So we were doing that. I was actually recording on a really crappy capture card. It was called the Adaptec Game Bridge. It was terrible. I had a terrible PC. So I was just going with the flow, I guess. I was working in a bank at the time, and I was really close with the manager, and I still am. She was a family friend, and she saw me like scribbling these notes down, and she walked on over, and when she walked on over, she saw at the top of the page, it said YouTube video ideas, and she said, oh, my son does YouTube. He actually, does it for money and stuff. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. You can actually make money on that platform. So you're telling me that I could make some money playing Halo? Because I was big into Halo. I was big into Dragon Ball. Still am, obviously, right? And I couldn't believe it. I was like, we've known each other for so long. I've never met your sons. It would be pretty cool to meet and hang out with them. And we did. And from that point on, I believe it was June or May of 2012, I was introduced to Paul and his brothers Sean, Aaron, and Alex, better known as Super Saiyan Paul, previously known as the COD Brothers Gaming. We have a whole story to talk about that. And from that point on, Paul became my best friend and at the time my mentor, because man, let me tell you, I used to sleep over this kid's house. We used to make crazy amounts of videos, and he taught me a lot. So I can't be here if it were not for him. So all of my gratitude, all of my appreciation, my hard work, it's all attributed to him. It's all attributed to Paul because he taught me the ins and outs. He was showing me things like color corrections and just little things with videos and whatnot. I was watching his videos. I used to consume his videos a lot. We had this synergy between us because, I'm white, he's brown, but we were like brothers, you know what I mean? And we gravitated towards each other so much that I learned so much from him that I started doing my own thing, which through his guidance, I was able to amass and grow the way I did. It took a long time, and at a certain point, I did surpass him, and I wanted him to obviously grow with me because till this day, he's my best friend. I appreciate the kid so much because we've been through a lot together. He was going through a lot of personal issues, still is, as I was at the time and still am. So we bonded, right? And from that point on, I went on in 2012 and I made a channel called UnrealNetwork Gaming. Now, I guess the explanation behind my silly name is I remember when I first discovered the Unreal Engine, first of all, I just love the name Unreal. I was like, yo, that Unreal Engine's fire, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, let me put together a name, just Unreal. I love to entertain, right? I guess I could just slap in the ent in there. I'm not just gonna put entertainment. It's just a long ass word to put in. And I love gaming. I'm a gamer at heart. I've been playing games since I was a kid into my adulthood. And I was like, you know what? Let me just slap gaming on there. So from that point on, I discovered many other YouTubers that were doing the same shit. For example, at the time from 2012 going into 2013, 2014, I discovered PewDiePie, White Boy 7th Street, if you guys remember that name. I remember discovering El Presador, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and I remember Machinima was around at the time as well, so that was in and out. There was this really horrible YouTuber called Exility, you know, Lispy Jimmy. I came across so many YouTubers, you know what I mean? And even, you know, on the Call of Duty side of things, like Syndicate, the Syndicate project, right? Wings of Redemption. Who could ever forget him? You know what I mean? So, I mean, Woody's Gamertag. Woody's Gamertag was another one. And I remember at the time, I was watching, if you guys remember, Prank versus Prank, Boyfriend versus Girlfriend, you know, BF versus GF, Jesse and Gina. And, you know, obviously the OG, you know, Ray William Johnson as well. So I essentially came up in this environment and I drew inspiration from so many content creators because, again, I was super green. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And finally, at some point, I got monetized. It took a while, again, through the help of Paul, and I finally got with a network. And I didn't even know for many years that this network was fucking me out of money. Now, the reason why I say this is because it only took me about 2 years for me to discover this, because after meeting Rhymestyle, huge shout outs goes out to Rhymestyle, by the way. Rhymestyle is it's interesting to describe him because Rhymestyle is a very interesting and unique individual. He has a passion for this. He has a passion for many things that we share in common, Dragon Ball, Pokemon. I love Ed, and Eddie. I never had the chance to talk to him about that because myself and Paul loved Ed, and Eddie. Till this day, one of the best shows on earth. Rolf and Eddie and Jimmy and, you know what I mean? Plank, all this crazy stuff. So, you know, Rhymestyle, when I met him, I remember he told me and he asked me, what's your contract negotiation percentage? And I was like, well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 40-60, which meant I believe I was getting 60% of my ad revenue and this company was getting 40%. And Rhymestyle was like, what the fuck? Like, they're taking 40% of your ad revenue and they're not even doing dick for you? Hold on. And I was like, yeah, I was green. I didn't know what the hell was happening. And this dude, man, he contacted me and he was like, I got something for you. You know, we'll stay in touch. Next thing you know, my network reaches out to me and they're like, hey, Alex, so we have a new contract for you that's a 90-10 split. And I was like, holy shit, I get 90% of my fucking revenue and they get to keep 10 for, you know, all intents and purposes to help me and protect me with copyrights, blah, 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 right? And till this day, man, till this day, I am so thankful and grateful for what Rhymestyle had done for me. Because not for nothing, I remember when I first encountered Rhymestyle's channel, I was a bit jelly, man. I was a bit jelly because I was like, who the fuck is this Super Sandwich dude making all these Dragon Ball videos? I guess it's competition based. I don't know what it was. I was young. I was stupid. I was like, whatever, you know? And I saw he was making these really cool videos, and then I try to make those cool videos because I think competition is, at the time, and, you know, to an extent even now, good and healthy if you want to improve as a creator. So objectively speaking, it did help me because instead of being lazy and instead of just being someone that just settled for less, I wanted to better myself. So, you know, outside of that, I always considered Rhymestyle from that point on to be a very cool ass person. So when I got a chance to speak with him on Skype and kind of get to know the kid a bit better, he's awesome at the end of the day. And I really felt bad a few times because there were a few moments and instances where he would hit me up on Skype or even text me and he would ask me, yo, you down to do videos? And at the time, I was really deep into my wrestling and into going to the gym. So I kept telling him like, nah, man, I gotta go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. So I really hope he didn't take offense to that because, again, I would have loved to make so many things with him. And he was always someone that I consider to be a genuine person towards me. So I have to thank him for also guiding me and giving me information and sharing, you know, things that helped me, because at the time before he did all of that, I think I was making like $700 a month, or sometimes even less, like $300 when I first started. Then I went on to make, after a few months, after 2012, 2013, going into 2014-ish from what I can remember, I made like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I think the most that I made prior to, you know, the contract changing was about like $4,000, which is good money. I was working at the bank and I was still, you know, doing YouTube at the same time. So it did help my situation because, for those who don't know, I take care of my mom. I am the provider of my household. So I'm not only feeding myself, but I'm also feeding her, feeding my dog. I am paying all the bills because she doesn't work. She's very old now. She's 66. So, you know, I got to step it up and be the man and take care of everything. So the YouTube money did help when it came down to that, on top of, you know, me paying off my car because I had a leased car and I had crazy insurance, man. Like, my insurance was like fucking $500 for a new driver. It was nuts, man. I was getting destroyed financially for many, many years, right? So after a while, you know, I learned about, and this was right around that time frame, I learned about Battle of Gods. I learned about Resurrection F at the time when it was coming out. And I was so fucking naive as a creator, never to do my research, never to just, you know, double source, triple source. You know, I've learned that after so many years, because you have to do that if you want to be credible, if you want to be, you know, someone that is honest with your community. And it wasn't the fact that I was dishonest, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So at those times for 2013, I believe it was 2015, I got a lot of things right, and I also got so many things wrong, and I made a lot of enemies. And I will say this, right? For anyone, you know, that I've made enemies with then that still don't like me now for whatever reason, it's unfortunate because a lot of people on this platform, they beef over YouTube. I've had many beefs, which I will get into later on, but that's how a lot of things started. People had perceived me to be someone that was doing this intentionally, when I'll just flat out admit I was dumb. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know what sites to check. I didn't know anything. So I was just reporting out of my ass, thinking that the things that I was looking at and checking out and reporting on was real when it wasn't. So that's why, you know, nowadays I am super, super accurate with everything, because I am credible by comparison to before, and I attribute that not only to my competition, but for me taking the time to correct my mistakes, which, again, I will say once more, if I've ever done anything to sway you into thinking that I was purposely misleading you or whatever, I apologize, because that wasn't my intention. I was just stupid and I didn't know what the hell I was doing as a young creator, just coming up on the platform, just doing whatever, just for the sake of doing whatever, right? And when that happened and we learned about Dragon Ball Super coming out, the anime show, I was excited because I'm a genuine fan of Dragon Ball, man. I can get into this forever. And my channel was growing. And when Super came out, I believe it was July of 2015, once more, it took me a while, because I have the balls to admit this, man. It took me so long to improve as a creator, to look back on so many of my videos. Doing this YouTube shit, it's not easy. It's not fucking easy. At least for me, I'll tell you this. I can sit here and record anything. I could record anything, no problem. But the time-consuming part is the editing for me. Now, a lot of people often say, well, the editing is easy for me, but the recording part is what's most difficult, or vice versa, you know what I mean? So I do everything by myself. I don't have an editor, and when I do have an editor, it's for a massive, 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 massive project. And guess what? Even then, I'm working with the editor to split those projects into little mini pieces, or let's just say, as an example, with one of my moral videos, one of my moral arc explained videos, it's like 7 hours long. My good friend Red actually did the first 10 minutes of it, the first 10-minute portions of that video, and the rest of the 7 hours was me. You know what I mean? So at the time, and even now, I'm doing everything by myself, and it's time consuming. So when Super came out, I was really excited as a fan because I was genuinely and still am a genuine fan of the franchise. So I was making reviews and I was doing all these videos, and the next thing you know, along the way, I guess once again, it was competition based. We all started beefing, and by we all, I mean like if you guys have been around, you would know that mostly every Dragon Ball creator at some point had beef with each other. It's like this person calls out that person and that person calls out this person. And I think my first kind of beef in a way was with Geekdom, which I want to say at first, it kind of started off as like a competitive kind of thing, you know what I mean? But that beef itself just spiraled into a whole different beast after a while, you know, and people were just egging him on, people were egging me on, and I've noticed roughly around like kind of the same time, you had Mastar beefing with Anime Live Reactions, you had Geekdom beefing with Mastar, you had Seth the Programmer basically beefing with everybody, you know, you had Emish's Live beefing with Chuck, you had Emish's Live beefing with Anime Live Reactions, you know, you had, I believe it was at the time, for Neverworld beefing with Double 4 Anime for years, you know what I mean? And you had so many problems within the community that I want to kind of say that's all attributed to Dragon Ball Super, but at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I think that with time and with time healing all of those wounds, a lot of us now, right now, as I'm recording this, we're all cordial, we're all cool. I got the opportunity to speak to several people in clearing up several of the issues that we had, and it's kind of cool because I've noticed this within like the sector of YouTube, like you have so many other communities, and I understand that as toxic as the Dragon Ball community is, from what I've heard, the Pokemon community is worse, the Grand Theft Auto community is worse, like I've heard some stuff, like you know what I mean? And I'm glad that now everyone is cool, calm, collected, cordial. I hope that we don't spiral into a murder beef when Dragon Ball Super inevitably returns, because if you have a brain, you would know that it will, but I just hope that it doesn't go in that direction, because at the end of the day, right, I think we're all striving for the same thing. I'm not sitting here saying, yeah, so I want to just, you know, live like a pimped out life with like 3 Lamborghinis out back and like a $25 million mansion. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have at least, you know, 1 Lambo in my life. I would love to have a nice, you know, house, something that doesn't cost 25 million, but I'm not in it for the material things, you know, I'm just living my life, I'm doing what I gotta do, I'm paying my bills, I'm taking care of people, I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my workers, and I'm doing things behind the scenes, so that way, whenever I end up getting married and having children and stuff like that, I want to be able to give my kids everything that I never had when I came up, you understand what I'm saying? So I see a lot of people on YouTube that I watch and that I don't watch anymore, and, you know, they flex and stuff, and I can easily flex myself, and people just don't know this because I keep it to myself. I don't think that, you know, it's necessary for me to do that, because I remember there was a podcast where Mike Tyson said, yo, at the end of the day, you ain't shit. I'm saying that about myself too, and I'm Mike Tyson. And he would say things to say that in life, we are just people, except some of us just happen to work a bit harder than others, you know, and that's really it. I'm no better than you, so what? I'm a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. I mean, at the end of the day, you got architects out there, you have archaeologists, you have, you know, construction workers, you have doctors and scientists. Like, who the fuck am I? I'm just an entertainer. I'm someone that is good at what I do in my field, and I'm simply someone that just works a little bit harder than someone else. I'm not God, you know what I mean? But then you got, you know, other content creators and other, quote, influencers that have like this weird God complex mentality, like, oh yeah, I'm untouchable, I'm the shit, my clout. Like, yo, saddle on down, like, relax, you know, like, some people just get way too ahead of themselves, you know what I mean? And I could never be that way, at least in my own opinion, because I am so thankful in being in the wrestling field. For those who don't know, I am a wrestler and I love wrestling, and I've been in the wrestling business for 10 years, just roughly around, right? And I've learned the art of humbleness through that. I've had the opportunity to meet and be around successful people, rich people, influential people, and I shut my mouth and I just listened and I learned, you know what I mean? So I guess it's just like the journey of going through that, because man, was it stressful. And it wasn't just the YouTubers per se, but the system itself, the algorithm changes, and all of the demonetization garbage. Like, a lot of people will tell you if they're a creator, yeah man, like, this platform, for what it's worth, it has a lot of great things about it, but it also has a lot of things that devalue your work and it demotivates you. I can't sit here and tell you how many times I felt so demotivated, but I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, you know what I mean? And I really do see the light at the end of the tunnel for this platform. This is a great platform, I think, for content creation. Not really sure about the streaming part. I mean, I think every platform minus Twitch has, you know, streaming issues, so it is what it is, but this is the platform. Nobody is a competitor to YouTube, and it's like I said earlier, competition, I think, is a healthy thing because it allows and it creates and it establishes the idea that, you know, in order for you to be the best or for you to have the best, you have to step it up. Like, you know, with wrestling or with gaming companies, stuff like that. So this platform, don't get it twisted. If you want to be a content creator and be like, oh yeah, so I'm just going to make like 5, 10, 15, 20 videos and be a millionaire. No. That's not how it goes down. Before Mr. Beast became a beast on the platform, he was sitting in his fucking chair repeating Logan Paul's name 100,000 times on a live stream video or whatever, and just grinding it out, just making crappy video after crappy video to become who he is today and to get to where he is, in now stepping up his quality and actually creating some of the best YouTube videos that you will ever see on this platform. So he's an inspiration to me because Jimmy actually came from nothing. He was making sheltered videos like me and everybody else, and before you know it, he blew up and he worked very hard. Unlike many other people, including myself, this dude puts millions and millions and tens of millions into creating these videos and stuff, and I can't even imagine the stress load and whatnot. So after seeing that, yeah, you know, Mr. Beast is at what, 80, 90, 100 million subscribers, and I just reached 1. I'm very happy about that. And it's not just the million subscribers that I'm happy about, because truth be told, Paul can tell you this, all of my closest friends can tell you this, I never would have imagined to ever reach 1 million subscribers. But I did it because I was consistent. I worked very, very hard. I gave up a lot, man. I gave up a lot. People don't know this, but I sacrificed not just my mental sanity to just do what I do, but also I sacrificed a lot physically. Consuming so much fucking coffee, mixing that with Red Bull to just keep me awake and keep me going. I don't have fucking ADHD, and I still went to the doctor to give me a prescription of Adderall, and I mixed that with coffee and Red Bull for a short time. That was terrifying. I've never felt more intense in my life after taking all that shit. I thought I was gonna fucking die from a heart attack. Thank God I stopped with the whole Adderall bullshit. I only used it as a means to keep me up so I can finish the projects that I had, so I can do the things that I wanted to do. And I wasn't even complaining. I was like, nope, no complaints from me. Let's go, grind. That's all it was, and that's all it is. Now I'm consuming less coffee, less Red Bull, less Monsters, so I don't want to fucking die early, but I'm pretty sure I shredded years off of my life to do this. You feel me? And I'm not even shitting you. I'm being straight the fuck up right now, you know? And it's like, so many of my closest friends will tell you, like, yeah, man, this dude became a hermit, you know? Like, just sitting at home, just wasting away, just doing videos, scripting, editing, you know? And I gave that up for my community. And I don't really, you know, have any regrets with that. The only regret that I have is I wish YouTube's system was so much more better than what it is now. Any content creator, right, will tell you this straight up and say, yeah, you know, so we put out the best kind of work that we could possibly put out, and it's either suppressed by the algorithm or this happens, that happens, and it sucks, you know? And so if this were to be the case in point, as an example, since I have 1 million subscribers, if I was getting like 1 million views per video, since that's how many people have subscribed to my channel as a hypothetical, then that itself would take so much of the stress load off of me, because then I would be able to pre-plan and do things at a much more kind of balanced schedule versus before where I was just go, 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 daily, 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 and not everyone can do that, you know? I would say that YouTube is more mentally demanding than it is physically, depending on, I would say, the kind of content that you do. But it is a mentally driven, I guess, job. And it is a job because, you know, a lot of people, I have seen this before. People say, oh, YouTube's not a job. Motherfucker, when you're paying tens of thousands of dollars in taxes, in some cases, some people millions, right? And you're getting the bag on a monthly basis, right? Because that's what a job is. You are performing a task for a payment. That's what's called a job. And, you know, people just often see that as being like, oh, it's a hobby. Well, did you know that you can actually turn a hobby into a career or a job? You know? So, you know, this is a mentally demanding job in a sense where if you really want to, quote, make it, you're going to have to devote yourself mentally in order to do that because everyone's doing it now and it's extremely competitive, you know? And I strive to make myself different by comparison to a lot of people, and I don't really dislike anybody or hate anybody because I think hate is a very strong word, but there is one person that I've noticed throughout like the last, I would say 2 years that tries to mimic my shit, you know, and he doesn't live in the States, you know, like this is a content creator overseas and he's such a piece of shit person, you know, like I don't want to be anything like this guy because what he does on his shitty crappy channel is essentially take my ideas in a sense and then he replicates that with his own bullshit, and it's just bullshit because this individual has no creative bone in his body. And it's kind of sad because the reason why I strongly dislike this person is because there was a point in time where they emailed me, right, saying things like, hey, so, you know, why'd you block me and stuff? And the reason why I blocked them was because I found out that this individual was trying to like buy out the people that were working for me, and the people that work for me know that I take care of them. So they came to me and they were like, hey, this other guy is like telling us this, this, and this. And I was just saying to myself like, wow, what a piece of shit. And I was reading the messages and the text and stuff. And this guy was like, hey, so, you know, can I buy your manga off of you? And my guys are like, well, you know, this is not ours. We're, you know, being commissioned and we're working on this because these projects belong to Unreal and Gaming. And this guy was like, oh, well, yeah, you know. And then, you know, when I caught him in the act, he tried to like play it off and stuff. And this guy's a piece of shit. Like, he really, really is. And I don't want to be anything like this dude because it's desperation at its finest. You can tell based on his crappy description box mimics mine, because everything that I add in my description box came at least a year and a half, 2 years before anything that he adds within his. So you can kind of see like the copy and paste formula if you go back a year or two and you look at description boxes and you look at certain things, and you can compare that to now where he's mimicking with even how I phrase and word things. And it's like, dude, you are a desperate pile of trash. And this actually goes back to what I was saying about, you know, things being competitive and this being a competitive market. And I understand that this is a competitive market, you know, which I don't really have an issue with. But if you come across as a piece of shit individual, then that is when we're going to have an issue. And this person came to me with a phony $10,000 sponsorship where it never amounted to anything, you know, like, where's my $10,000 then, homie? I unblocked you, I'm about to block his ass again, you know, like, it's just weird to me. So my only advice to people when they ask is don't be a piece of shit person on the platform, you know? This person gloats on their Instagram about how much money they make off of, you know, making Dragon Ball content and all this other bullshit that he does. It's like, once again, you're coming across as being snarky, you're coming across as being such a stuck-up individual, you know, and that is something that I encourage people not to be like, you know. Be humble, understand the fact that there are other human beings that exist, and with that, not everyone wants to see how much money you're making and how much you're flexing on them because you're just coming across like, again, a snobby pile of crap, you know. So again, the platform itself had taught me so much, and I have met genuinely great people on this platform, including viewers. A lot of people can tell you that I am one of the very few that interacts with their viewers, that befriend their viewers. Like, I mean, and I hate putting it that way because, you know, just there's like a little bit of a stigma behind the word like subscribers and like viewers or whatever. But on my Discord, in my comment section, you know, I always try to befriend all the good people, like all the people that legitimately look after you as a creator or as a person that's providing content, because it's not easy to do. Like I said before, anybody can just do anything, but if it's not good in a sense where there's work being put in or there is no substance behind the content itself, then people are going to see that and they're going to be like, well, okay, not for me, you know? And I attribute so much to my community and my audience because you guys let me have it. When I'm doing good, you guys let me know, yo, you're doing good. When I'm fucking up, I'm going to keep it a stack. A lot of you guys are like, yo, maybe you should change this, change that, don't do this, don't do that. Maybe perhaps you should take a different approach in doing this and that. And I respect that. I'm like, you know what? They're right. These people are right. I'm going to switch this up. I'm going to change this around. I'm going to shorten this. I'm going to add this. And I appreciate that a lot because when there's constructive criticism as an input, then it betters the creator, right? And that's something that I always want to strive in doing because I don't want to just put out videos just to put them out. Because if you were to go back to some of my videos from like 2012, 2013, they're horrible, you know? Even 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, they're horrible in my opinion. By comparison, when I look back on it, I'm like, okay, well, I could have done this. I could have gotten a better mic and this and that. I could have edited this and that, you know? So it's always good to have productive and constructive criticism because it does go on to help you a lot. And I wouldn't be where I am right now if it were not for the people that believed in me because I'm just some dude that lives on the border of Brooklyn and Queens in New York, you know what I mean? I've seen the best of both worlds. I've lived here my whole life. I don't want to stay here much longer because New York isn't what it, used to be or what it once was. Anybody who lives here will tell you that, and that's a whole different conversation for another day. But I wouldn't be who I am with the impact that I have in simply being someone who is a reviewer, who is an anime fan, who is a gamer, who is a storyteller, without you believing in me. So I appreciate that. And for all the people that have been around for a long time, I have received emails, like I said, of people telling me of some of the craziest shit that they were going through at the time, and my content helped them get by. It helped them push them through, and I'm like, holy shit, like, did it really? And if it really did, like, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I appreciate that a lot more than you may think. And it really kind of leaves me speechless because it's like, really? My content? Like, I thank you. Like, thank you for that. So to be where we're at now, I'm very grateful of that because there was a point in time, I would say roughly around 2015, 2016 specifically, where the algorithm had completely changed and my channel just sunk. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was such a weird time, and that always sucks when you see like algorithmic changes because then you kind of start questioning yourself. Is it you? Is it your audience? Is it the system? Like, what's going on here? So there were so many times where I'm going to keep it a stack right now where I kind of just lost hope in myself, and you guys were putting faith in someone that really was beginning to doubt themselves and lose faith within themselves, you know what I mean? And this goes back to what I said before. I sacrificed so much, man. Like, I can't tell you the amount of things that I just gave up, spending time with friends, spending time with a girl that I was talking to, because ultimately enough, right, if I want to get married and have children, you have to spend time with your significant other. So I didn't really have any sort of way of balancing time because I would have so many of my homies hit me up, yo, you want to go out, you want to do this and that, and there were so many times where I was like, nah, I don't want to because I have to do this and this, and they would hit me up and be like, yo, like, you just became someone that we don't even want to hang out with anymore because you're so engraved in what you're doing that you're forgetting about your friends, you're forgetting about just living your life, you're not even spending quality time with anybody that you're talking to, and which was true because, that's what I gave up. There were times, actually, as an example, there were several times where I used to take like a 25, 30-minute walk to the gym, and the moment I would get there, I shit you the fuck not, I would stay there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I would immediately leave and go home because I knew I had to record this, and this. And it didn't really matter at what point of the day this was, in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. My mind, my brain was just so into the system where I didn't even fucking give a shit about my own health, And if you go on my Instagram, right, at Unreal Studios, and you look at how I used to look like, I was in that early amateur bodybuilding kind of stage, I guess you could say, where I was really focused on developing myself, and I did. And then there was a point in time where I was like, yo, fuck everything, let me just drink soda, eat shit, and I did. And I saw, with my own eyes, what soda did to me. Like, if you look at, my photos and stuff, I was big, and I still am. I was a big dude, and I still am. And I was a big dude, and I still am. You know, I was really, really jacked. I'm not as jacked as I was because I needed to attribute more time to go to the gym, and specifically the diet. It's always the diet. But nonetheless, right, I was a big jacked dude. I was, you know, getting my weight up, and the next thing you know, to keep me going and to, you know, give me more energy and stuff, I started consuming soda. I started consuming even more soda, specifically Pepsi and Coke. And then I was just like wolfing down pizzas and burgers and just bullshit, you know, just to keep myself fed so I can just, you know, not worry about energy and then keep going. And then I got into the Monster and then the Red Bull, and then one coffee turned into 10 coffees and stuff. Like, I'm telling you all right now, I am so fucking surprised that I'm not dead. I don't know what it is, man. Perhaps maybe it's like a divine intervention thing. Like, I don't know, maybe the Holy Ghost is watching over me and keeping me from dying or something. But let me tell you, I'm just as surprised as anyone else is that I'm still here because of the shit that I was putting in my body. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, the Bustelo coffee, I used to drink like 10 of those because drinking 1 or 2 or 3 really didn't get me by, you know? And that shit was crazy. I was mixing that with Red Bull and sometimes mixing Red Bull with Monster. Like, what? I was on that crackhead energy, you know? But that was the devotion that I had for my community, for YouTube, for seeing myself have a better life down the line, because that's what I ultimately want. I want to be able to relax, live a better life. And I always tell everybody this: if you're going to get into YouTube, or if you're going to get into, like, you know, Twitch and stuff, you need to devote yourself. Not as crazy as I did. Do not do that. Some people have a much better way of balancing their life, but whatever it is and however it is you do things, do not do it with the way I did it. Because I used to break night like every other day, taking the Adderall with the coffee, with the Monster, with the Red Bull, and then just seeing where I go from there. And then just sacrificing time with friends, sacrificing time from going to the gym, going to wrestling practice, you know, shit like that. And it breaks my heart because it's like, man, I could have probably have done much more in my personal life than where I'm at now if I were to kind of reverse that, you know, and put more time into my personal life versus my career. But I did the opposite. I put all of my time, energy, and even my soul into focusing on my career and YouTube versus just neglecting everything else, you know? And if you're going to be doing YouTube and Twitch or whatever, don't do that. Do not do what I did, because A, you're going to be prone to, God forbid, getting a heart attack or a stroke with all the shit you might be consuming to keep yourself awake and stuff like that, which you don't want to do. And it's just not the right thing if you want to kind of find balance, you know, which, again, this is not an easy thing to do. But if you want to be a streamer, if you want to be a content creator, then be different and devote yourself into trying to be the best that you can, and always work on the mistakes that you make in order for you to become a better creator or a better streamer, right? And I honestly don't think that I would be where I'm at now if it were not for some of my close friends that really put me in check and helped me and, you know, just guided me along the way. And I think that every single creator needs that, to where, you know, these people, instead of boosting your ego and instead of always just being a yes man, will call you out when you need to be called out and will help you genuinely without anything or wanting anything in return. And one person that I could just easily name off the top of my head that comes first before anyone is my good friend, my close friend, one of my best friends, Emish. Now, a lot of people don't know, and what's interesting about him is, like, some people take his criticism for super to heart. They always say, oh, why do you bring him on? He's always hating. That's not even true. The guy just wants a better product, you know what I mean? And every single time myself and Emish have talked about Dragon Ball Super, he always compares it to, like, other shonen and other animes and mangas. And me and him, you know, we've bumped heads a lot, and that comes through disagreement, right? I always had a difference of opinion when it comes down to certain forms of criticism that he has and whatnot. But nonetheless, anime outside, games outside, the guy is one of the coolest fucking human beings that you will ever meet. I can joke with this guy at any given point, and he will immediately know that I'm joking. When I'm serious, I'm serious. And vice versa. When I know he's serious, I know he's serious. When I know he's kind of fucking around with me, he's fucking around with me. And that dude had been with me since day one, and he had been with me and stood next to me when all hell broke loose on my end when I was going through so much shit in the community. My name was being ragged around through the dirt as if I was some sort of a criminal. Nobody wanted to do anything with me through the source of, hearing something from someone else. And this guy knew me. Like, he actually got to know who I was as a person. And I'm so thankful for that because he got to see so much of the lies that were spread about me. He got to see firsthand all of the bullshit that was placed on my name solely for the fact that a few people didn't like me. So they wanted to kind of ruin my career, right? They were going around saying, don't work with him, make sure you blacklist him, blah, blah, blah. And it's true, it happened to me. And by the end, I outlasted all of that. And he was there for me when shit really hit the fan. And I know he might be listening to this because I'm going to send him this podcast and he's probably going to roast me for it or whatnot, but the dude is one of the most sincere people you will ever meet. And one thing about Emish is he's straight the fuck up to your face, meaning he'll tell you like it is, right? He will tell you like it is without bullshitting because he wants to let you know right off the gate as a first impression that, I don't have a bias. I'm gonna tell it to you like it is. If you get mad at me, don't, because you should get mad at the truth and not me, right? So he's always been straight up, and he's always been straight up with me. So whenever I did right, he would let me know, you're killing it. You're a fucking beast. Keep doing what you're doing. When I was fucking up, he would tell me straight up, you're fucking up. You're stupid. What the fuck are you doing? Are you like that retarded? Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So he would guide me in the right direction and kind of analyze certain situations to say, okay, I would approach it like this. This is my best recommendation. This is what you should do. So the point being here is this is a person that if I were to have kids, right, with a woman, I would trust him with my kids because this dude is that genuine. I met him dozens of times, hung out with him in different states. The guy is super awesome. And I feel like every single creator needs someone or, several people that are going to be like that with you. You know what I mean? So hands down, he is easily one of my best friends and that I could say I could trust him with literally anything because I know deep down who he is as an individual. Not the whole, One Punch streams and the, Dragon Ball stuff. Outside of all of that shit, I know who the person is. And I know that he's a genuine person that if he were to do something for you, he does it not because he expects something in return, but because he does it because he cares. And I fucking love that dude. And if you're someone that wants to hate on Emish or talk shit about Emish, fuck you. You don't know the guy, and you probably never will. Either due to your own arrogance and not wanting to get to see and understand someone for who they are, or you're just either blinded by bias and that's what you want to do and run with. So it is what it is, right? So he's one of them. Another, few set of people that I can say easily, just come to mind as being some of my closest friends are some of my moderators and many people on my Discord server. I could just name a bunch of them, but just to name a few, Danny Ray Champ, C Daz, you got, Red or Nerd or Jesus Red, you always change your name, dude. You're a weird one. He's another very good friend of mine. I could just go on and on, my good friend Solomon, also known as Fallen the Degenerate, my good friend Taurus Silverin or Taurus. There's just a bunch of people that I can just name and just give so much appreciation to because these people are my homies. They're some of my closest friends. I tell them shit that nobody else, knows about and even, can figure. And I'm pretty sure I can name a whole bunch of other people too, but I'm just going off the top of my head. And these are people that I appreciate because, despite their own bias towards each other, because not everyone's gonna get along, but I can only judge my experience through my own interaction with them. And I can easily say through thick and thin, these people have been there, And I feel like if you want to be a creator or a streamer, that's what you need. You can't have a bunch of ass-kissing, mustard-sniffing, degenerates around you to always wipe your ass even when you're shitting on yourself and say, yeah, you're doing a great job. No, you're not being a real friend. You know what I mean? And I've been called out. These people that I've mentioned, they could easily tell you, like, yeah, they've called me out for a lot of shit when it came down to my content, when it came down to my attitude, when it came down to, a lot of the things that I was doing good. Because when I would do good shit, when I would put out bangers and do my thing and grind, these people, my friends, would encourage me and be like, yo, you're crushing it, dog. Do this, do that. You're banking on it. You're fucking doing it. Great job. Keep it up. And when I would fuck up, trust me, they would all get together and be like, yo, you fucking up. Like, you good? Like, what's up? You know? And, you know, yeah, it gets a little annoying sometimes because I feel as though it's 1 versus 100, me against them. But at the end of the day, I understand, I accept, I take a minute to reflect, and I push forward. And I feel like every single creator, every single streamer needs that. I don't know where I would be if I just had someone that just kissed my ass 24/7. I don't think I would be able to kind of evolve as a person, you know, and as a content creator. And again, another person that, you know, I can easily name off the top of my head, once again, is Super Saiyan Paul. But it's vice versa, though. I would be tough on him. Whenever, you know, he was crushing it, I'd be like, yo, you're doing great, do this, do that. Whenever he was fucking up or doing something that was stupid and that I felt as though kind of didn't really help him in the long run, I would call him out for it because I really wouldn't be a good friend, a strong enough creator to look at things objectively to say, yo, man, you're messing up. You need to do better. So I think that is what is fundamental as someone that wants to be a creator or a streamer. I can't really say anything about if someone wants to, you know, do those things and they don't have any friends. That's just kind of depressing. And I kind of was placed in that situation because, like I've mentioned before, with all of my time being preoccupied in, you know, just creating mangas, creating reviews. Like, people just don't know the amount of work that it takes, you know, behind the scenes to do some of these things. I lost sleep, dog. I lost a lot of muscle mass because, like I said, I was doing amateur bodybuilding, you know, pro wrestling stuff, and then I kind of stepped away from that to focus on this, and I, you know, neglected my health. And I did it for my community. And I love my community. Now, there could be a dozen other communities out there that I am not a part of or don't know about. Hey, man, kudos to you. But my journey had, you know, just taken me in so many different avenues and places. Lots of ups that, you know, genuinely helped me financially, emotionally, you know, stuff like that. You know, helped me progress and learn. And just like every journey, I have endured and had gone through such trials and tribulations that, yo, honestly, not anyone that would be placed in my shoes would walk away on the other side and still keep going. Many people, I can promise you, would just get crushed by the pressure. And I don't even know why I'm doing this, like in a sense where I don't know what my end goal is. I guess it's to entertain and keep you informed, and I guess just take your mind off the bullshit sometimes. As to what I would like to do in the long run, I guess the end goal, I would only hope to leave an impact in this community on the, I guess, YouTube platform as a whole, for people to remember me as being someone that, if all else, was just a hard worker and that was really honest with his community and someone that took everything that he got and put it back into his own content and just kept going. I wish, like I said, not for nothing, I wish I had like Mr. Beast money, Mr. Beast views. Yo, I would be putting back so much into my content in terms of just developing and hiring. I don't want to get into all of the statistics about how many workers I have and how much I would pay, you know, monthly, weekly, yearly, but man, is it a lot. And like I said, I'm a typical person where I'm not like, you know, any other creator where they would like just spend millions of dollars on a house and stuff. You know, would I want that? Of course, everybody would want that. And that's why I got into, you know, crypto and investments and stuff like that, you know, dividends, all that, you know, stock market stuff that some people would find boring. But yo, let me tell you, it's not as boring as you think. To give you a little bit of an example of something that I really regret, I remember it was roughly around the time frame of April, I would say April or May of 2021, right? And I think I'll post the screenshot on my Twitter if people don't believe me, but I made $76,000 in about 20 minutes off of Dogecoin, right? But my dumbass, and that was when Dogecoin was like shooting up, right? My dumbass didn't pull out, which means I didn't sell what I had and pocketed that 76 grand. But instead I said to myself, yo, what if I collect the 76 grand now, but by tomorrow, it turns out that I could have made 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 700,000, right? I would be kind of assing myself out if I just pulled out this early. So I waited, and that was, if you guys check the time frame, I don't know what Elon Musk did or who he had beef with, but it was around that time frame where something happened and the crypto market just crashed, man, and I lost out on $76,000. Now, at that time, I invested a total of $9,000 and I could have pocketed 76. So you do the math. It would have been like a what, 60, like a 50, 60,000, dollar profit margin that I would have pocketed. But I decided to wait, and things over the year, improved. Not as much to that extent, but I didn't lose out money, and I've learned. My boys are all investing. I helped them. I helped kind of open the doors for that. I told Emish to get into it, and ever since I kind of shed a little bit of light on that, he started just going ham on that, and a few other people as well. So, you have to always look at outside sources and outside things as a creator, because to be quite honest, as one of my old coworkers in the bank used to say, how do you know that YouTube, how do you know that Twitch is going to be forever? We don't know that, right? So yeah, YouTube and Twitch have been around for a decade plus, give or take, right? Just give or take. But at the end of the day, they often say nothing lasts forever. So I guess we're all on borrowed time, right? So my journey, I guess, throughout the 10 years that I've been on here, have been to put all of my eggs into the YouTube streaming basket. But I guess during the 9th and 10th year, I kind of learned to pull out some of those eggs from that basket and place them somewhere else, because you kind of have to do that. You have no other choice, just in case. Like they say, they call it a contingency plan, just to have it just in case. And I've been doing that, and because you'll never really know. And I've worked, like I said, YouTube, it's not easy, man. I've worked so many fucking jobs. I think some of the most difficult ones were construction, but that was like when I was fucking 17, 18, 19 years old. That was tough. That was hard labor. Straight from high school, I was doing that on the side. It wasn't like an official, construction job that I was being, afforded benefits and stuff. It was with a family friend. And I remember I was working on West 99th Street in Manhattan, and I remember I was fucking moving sheetrock around. I was knocking down walls, doing demolition. I almost lost my fingers, just messing with the saw. All these crazy things, man. I worked in GameStop. I fucking worked as a security guard for this really crusty ass company that I don't even know if it still exists anymore. I used to work as a security guard in front of Home Depot, and get this, mind you, if I ever sat down, if they ever caught me on camera sitting down, they would fire me. So I used to stand, on my feet between 8 to 13 hours checking fucking receipts. It was awful. I used to work in a food truck, right? I used to just make food for people. So, I was grinding, and mind you, like I said, when I was doing YouTube throughout the years of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016, that's like what, 5 years? Within those 5 years, I not only had a primary job, which was either that of the bank, GameStop, or construction, but at the same time, I went to wrestling practice for several hours. I used to come back and then script and do videos. So it was fucking torture, but I had that drive, and I still do. So if you want to be someone like that, you're going to have to be different. Don't fucking copy and do all this shit that everyone else is doing. Be your own person, If you're going to mimic something, at least have your own flavor to it, you know what I mean? And nobody ever said that it would be easy. I can't really think of anybody on this platform that was ever just gifted or just handed, millions of subscribers. I really can't think of someone. If maybe you guys can think of a creator or creators that were just handed millions and millions and millions of subscribers, then I don't know. Unless they're celebrities, but celebrities don't really count because they're just celebrities, you know what I mean? So the journey has been something, and I really have to thank everybody that's been in my personal life for all of my viewers and the people that have subscribed and the people that have taken the time to watch my content and to give me constructive feedback and to enjoy the things that I've been putting out. And the thing is with me too, I don't mean to be a dick in the comments whenever someone leaves a rude comment or whenever someone's nasty, but you gotta understand, man, I'm someone that puts so much time into this. If you're going to critique me, at least critique me in a way to where it's not disrespectful, you know? Don't tell me that I fucking suck. Don't tell me that this is cringe. Don't say that this person's better or that this is trash. You know, how does that help me in the long run? So when I see disrespect, I respond with disrespect. So I'm not gonna apologize for it, you know, but I'm just saying, as something for people to just, you know, give them a heads up, like, hey, we creators, right? It doesn't matter who you are. We're people at the end of the day, right? If you're going to give constructive criticism, do it in a respectful manner, you know? That's like if you were in my position or vice versa, right? And I just, you know, went on your videos and I was like, oh, this is cringe. Oh, this is dragging on. Oh, you suck. Oh, you know what you're talking about. Oh, this and that. Oh, you're so lame. Oh, dead channel. Oh, clickbait. You know, like, how the hell does that help anybody? How does that help me? Like, what is the point of you coming onto my channel or anybody's channel to say that? You know what I mean? So that's why if you're going to critique in a respectful way. Be like, yo, man, I really had a hard time enjoying your shit because this, that, and the third. Or maybe saying, hey, I don't think this is accurate. These are the reasons. You know, thank you for still doing this. You know, just when you're respectful, you get respect back. But when you're acting like a troll, for whatever reason, I don't get why people troll. It's like for the lulz. Oh, it's lulz, you know? It's dumb. So I wouldn't do that either because you're not gaining anything out of it. Well, you're getting a momentary reaction, and that's it. Like, you're going to be forgotten in like 5 seconds. I can't tell you how many times I've seen stupid shit on my videos throughout the span of 10 years, and I'm looking at these comments, and then I block you because you'll never be seen again, and I forget about you like 10 seconds in. I'm like, all right. Well, and you know, you are going to get that as a creator. No matter what you do, you could fucking save an orphanage that's on fire, right? You can save all these kids. You can find the cure for AIDS and cancer. Someone out there is going to hate on you. You know what I mean? No matter what it is that you do, someone is going to fucking find some reason to try to shit on you. And that's life. Welcome to life. Welcome to the internet, right? No matter what it is that you do, no matter how much money you donate to charity, no matter what, people are always going to hate on you for silly reasons, or they're envious, they're jealous, they want to be in your position, they can't because they're not talented, or they're lazy, or they're just not even trying, so they try to bring you down. So don't even sweat the small stuff, because trust me, when I was in the fire, and I was in the fucking fire, when I say I was in the fire, I mean like, yo, I was in the pit. I was at the core. I was in the middle of, I was just engulfed in lava, right? When I was in the fire, I took it, and I've been taking it for a long time, and I walked out on the other side with some scars, with some scratches, but I dusted my fucking ass off, and I just kept pushing. And that's how you should do things, you know? You're going to have people that are gonna say and do things, but it is what it is. Focus on yourself, focus on your family, focus on your goals, focus on your future, because who the fuck is gonna feed you at the end of the day? Who's gonna bathe you? Who's gonna, you know, give you a glass of water to drink when you're thirsty? Nobody, you know? Nobody who is at least genuine, right? Or at least hardly. So you need to worry about your own future, your own actions that are going to carry you into the future. You need to check yourself if you're lazy. You need to check yourself if you need improvement. Like I mentioned, you need those right people. You need the right circle of people in your life that are going to help you and guide you and push you and motivate you and criticize you when you need, you know, to be critiqued, stuff like that. And this journey has been amazing. I honestly don't know what's going to happen in the next, I guess, 10 years. And I'm just going to say it like this, like, how do y'all know that I'm even going to be alive? You know? And I'm not just saying that, you know, oh, what are you trying to say? It's the truth, you know? I don't know when my time on this earth is going to be up. I don't know. It could be after this podcast, which, I doubt, but it's possible. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be next month and next year. It could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Hell, I don't know. It could be 70 years from now. I could live to be 100, Will I make it? I don't know. And what's interesting, though, is I'm hoping that within the next 10 years, I'm just going to kind of lay out some of my personal goals. I would really hope and I would really, work hard to achieve and strive for 5 million subs to maybe 10 million subs. First of all, that's a crazy ass number to even consider, but it's possible because other people have done it. So why the fuck can't I, right? So that's what I'm striving for. And I think on top of my quote bucket list, I guess it's to start a family, to finally settle down with the right female because boy, let me tell you, for those that are listening that are guys, you guys know how females are, right? It ain't easy. It ain't easy, especially now. But to start a family, to have children, and to just pass along everything to my children, to be able to give them a home, to be able to give them everything that I never had, to hopefully still have my mom around. She's the only person I have left in my life. And if she goes, unfortunately, which may happen, then that's it. I'm alone. I don't have any other family, no brothers, no sisters, none of that, grandparents. My father died many, many, many years ago. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? Like for that, my mom is the only one I have. And if she goes, that's it. So I want to start a family. I want to be able to expand my business, my channel, my other channels as well. Unreal vlogs. I want to be able to vlog and do all that, but I'm always so immersed within my main channel that I forget about my other channels, but I want to grow Unreal Vlogs. I want to grow this channel, UnrealNetwork. I want to grow my gaming channel as much as I can try to do gaming on there, which is Unreal Royale, right? I want to grow Unreal and gaming. I want to grow the Unreal brand, I guess you could say. And we'll see what happens. But the journey, I think, is important because if you don't have a journey and if you don't have a story to tell, then was everything really all worth it if you don't have anything to talk about? Do you know what I mean? So just appreciate both the good, the bad, and everything in between. So time management is something that a lot of people need to get in order, including myself. Having a strong and good circle of friends, that's always important. And to be humble at all times. Because if you're not humble and you have this inflated ego, and even though you don't want to portray yourself as having one, but you still come off a little snobby, it's not going to help you at the end of the day, I think at least. And this has been an adventure. This has been something that I can say I'm very happy about. So thank you. Thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for everything. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my content, to follow me on social media, whether that's on Twitter, Instagram, whatever channel I have. And, just for giving me the opportunity to just make your day, I guess, a little better. So I appreciate you guys watching this. Cheers to 1 million. And I guess cheers to the next million, which will be 2. Hopefully soon, but we'll see how that goes. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. You guys already know the spiel. I hate talking about it, but it is a good business model, I suppose, to remind people, hey, could you do the creator a favor? Like, share, subscribe, all blah, 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 blah. So again, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you guys are new here, subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoyed my little story, and just enjoy the podcast because I have a lot more that I want to talk about and discuss and all that good stuff down the line. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all, I guess, in the next one. Take it easy, everybody, and thank you again. Peace.